Today, wow, we're embarking on a pretty big journey. We're looking into some of life's really profound questions.
The big ones.
Yeah, the ones that echo, who am I really? What's my purpose here? Is this it?
Right. Those fundamental things we all grapple with at some point.
Exactly. And you've shared some really insightful material with us, looking right at the heart of what a spiritual journey means.
Yeah.
So our mission today, well, it's designed for you, for your curiosity. We want to distill those vital insights into something, practical, understandable.
That's absolutely the goal. We want to connect the dots, really, between these, let's face it, sometimes ancient-seeming spiritual ideas and your actual everyday life. How do these big concepts help you navigate things right here, right there?
Yeah, not just abstract theories.
Yeah. No, definitely not. It's about finding some, well, enduring clarity, real meaning, especially when the world feels so, fast and complicated.
Okay, so let's start where your sources suggest we should, at the root of it all. Yeah. Human motivation.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at everything, every living thing, from the tiniest insect right up to us, what's the one thing everyone's after?
Happiness.
Happiness, yeah. Simple as that, it seems. Consciously or unconsciously, that's the driving force.
It is, that universal search for happiness. You just can't deny it. But here's where the material you shared gets really interesting. It points out a paradox.
Okay.
Well, think about it. Moments of happiness, even really intense ones, they often feel fleeting, don't they? They fade.
Yeah, they definitely do.
But sadness, even something small, it can feel like it just hangs around, engulfs you almost.
It's true, it lingers.
And there's actually a statistic mentioned in the sources from spiritual research. It suggests the average person experiences happiness only about, get this, 25% of their life.
Only 25%, wow.
Yeah. Leaving the other 75% for, well, unhappiness or maybe just a kind of neutral state.
That really puts things in perspective, 75%.
It does. It makes you ask, if happiness is what we want most, why is it so hard to hold on to? Why so temporary?
Right. So if that's the case, are we just stuck in that cycle? But your sources, they offer something else, don't they? Beyond just temporary happiness.
They absolutely do. They introduce this concept, Anand. It's a Sanskrit word.
Okay.
It translates to bliss. But it's not just, like, super happiness. It's described as something different, an everlasting, constant state of inner joy.
Everlasting, so not dependent on what's happening outside.
Exactly. That's the key difference. It's not an emotion that comes and goes with circumstances. It's presented as a fundamental state of being.
That's a pretty revolutionary idea compared to just chasing the next happy moment.
It really is. Think of it like this, maybe. Temporary happiness is like a bonfire. It's warm, it's nice while it burns, but it needs constant fuel, and eventually it burns out. Anand, on the other hand, is presented more like the sun.
Okay.
An internal, constant source. It's just there, regardless of clouds or weather.
I like that analogy. The sun within.
Right. And what's really insightful from the material is the observation that, well, our schools don't really teach us how to find this Anand, do they?
No, definitely not on the curriculum, I remember.
So because many people just aren't aware of this deeper possibility, they end up chasing the fleeting kind through, achievements, buying things, sensory stuff, intellectual wins.
All the external things.
All the external things, which are fine, but they don't lead to Anand. And this science of spirituality, as the sources call it,
Yeah.
that's the discipline that supposedly teaches how to actually acquire this lasting bliss. And crucially, it's not about ditching your life. It's about integrating something deeper into your life.
So transforming your approach, not escaping.
Precisely. Recalibrating, making the everyday meaningful on a different level.
Okay, understanding that difference, temporary happiness versus this intrinsic Anand that feels really foundational. So if you grasp that and you feel that pull away from the kind of exhausting up and down cycle, what's the first step? The actual doing part. People want actionable things.
Absolutely. And the material you shared suggests the simplest, most immediate thing is to actively keep your mind engaged.
Engaged? How so?
Well, think about how easy it is to just spiral, replaying negative stuff, dwelling on mistakes, feeling sorry for yourself.
Oh, yeah. The mental loop.
Exactly. So this first step is about consciously fighting that, focusing on positives instead. But then it gets more specific. It introduces namajapa.
Namajapa, that's chanting, right? Chanting God's name.
Yes, exactly. And it's presented as the most effective spiritual practice for the times we live in. For Kaliyug, this current era.
Why specifically for this era?
Well, Kaliyug is seen as an age of, let's say, increased spiritual challenges and strife. And the sources state this isn't just a good idea, it's what saints prescribe. A proven method for these times.
Okay, so chanting is the recommended starting point. But why does chanting work, according to this?
Okay. The sources connect it back to the nature of God, described as Satchitanand.
Setchit Anand, can you break that down?
Sure. Sat is like absolute existence or truth. Chit is pure consciousness or knowledge. And Anand.
Is the bliss we were just talking about.
Exactly. So the idea is when you continuously chant God's name, you're constantly aligning yourself with that divine essence, with that Satchitanand.
So you're sort of tuning into that frequency.
That's a good way to put it. Tuning into bliss itself. And the belief is this does two things. It gradually infuses your life with that bliss, and it gives you the inner strength, the capacity to endure sorrow when it comes.
Wow. Making life blissful and helping you handle suffering. It's incredibly powerful.
It's profound, yeah.
But, okay, I can hear some listeners thinking now, especially those who already have spiritual practices. Maybe they do traditional worship, puja path.
A very common scenario.
Are they supposed to stop that? Or, like, how does this chanting thing fit in with what they're already doing?
That's a really practical, important question. And the sources address it head on. They acknowledge the value of traditional practices, things like yajna, the fire rituals,
Right?
Dangarian, giving offerings, Snan, ritual bathing, even mantra japa, chanting specific powerful mantras. These are all valuable. But
There's a but.
there's often a but. They usually come with conditions, specific times that are auspicious, particular places, rules about ritual purity, like you can't do certain things if there's been a birth or death in the family recently, that sort of thing.
Okay, I see. Lots of rules.
Right. Namajapa, the continuous chanting of God's name, is different. It's highlighted as not being bound by any of those restrictions.
So it's more accessible.
Way more accessible. It allows for that connection, that communion with God, literally anytime, anywhere, regardless of external circumstances or ritual states. It can complement other practices or even be the main one. It's always available.
That makes a huge difference, especially today. Life is busy, schedules are packed, finding the exact right time and place for complex rituals. It's tough.
It really is.
But then the next question is, okay, if it's always available, how do you actually do it? How do you fit constant chanting into a day that's already overflowing? Adding another thing, even if it's vital, it can feel like too much.
I hear that. And this is where the wisdom from Saint Bhaktaraj Maharaj, who's mentioned in your sources, is just brilliant.
Okay, what did she say?
He basically flips the whole perspective. He says something like, God himself created time, so how can we say only chant during this specific time?
That's a great point.
Isn't it? He says we should chant at all times. But here's the really key part. He emphasizes that chanting while you're doing your daily chores.
While doing things, not just sitting quietly.
Yes, that's actually seen as a superior practice to just sitting still in meditation or chanting in one spot.
Really? Why is that?
Think about it. You're washing dishes, you're commuting, you're folding laundry. Instead of letting your mind wander into worries or zone out,
You chant.
you chant. You maintain that inner connection. Two big reasons are given. First, it keeps the practice continuous, weaving it into the fabric of your life.
Okay.
And second, maybe more profoundly, chanting, while engaged in worldly tasks, helps you detach from Maya, the illusion, the constant change of the material world, even while you're right in the middle of it.
So you're in the world, but not totally of it, mentally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're cultivating this state of being constantly connected inwardly no matter what you're doing outwardly. They call this state sahajathiti.
Sahajthiti, constant communion.
Effortless, continuous communion. It transforms every action into, well, a form of spiritual practice.
That's a game changer. It's not about finding extra time. It's about changing what you do with the time you have.
Precisely. It reframes the whole approach.
Okay, so this is huge. We know why chant for Anand, for strength. We know when ideally all the time integrated into daily life. But what do you chant?
Yeah.
There are so many names for God, so many traditions. Does it matter which one?
Yes. The what's another critical question. And the sources use a really helpful analogy here. Medicine.
Medicine.
Yeah. Think about it. You wouldn't just grab any medicine off the shelf for any problem, even if you know some common ones.
No, you'd want the right one for your specific issue, ideally prescribed by a doctor.
Exactly. You need a learned practitioner to tell you what works for you. The sources say it's similar with chanting. You need the name that's most conducive to your specific spiritual progress. It's not one size fits all.
Okay, that makes sense. Personalized spiritual medicine. So how do you find your name? What options are given?
Right. So the material lays out 3 main pathways, depending on your situation. Option A is the ideal, perhaps, a name given to you by your guru.
By a spiritual guide.
Yes, a guru, being spiritually realized, is considered the best judge of which specific name will really accelerate your progress. Plus, chanting a name given by a guru is said to involve less ego than just picking your favorite deity's name yourself.
Less ego. Interesting. It's like following a prescription.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
A spiritual prescription tailored to you. Now, obviously, not everyone has found their guru yet, so what then?
Good question. What's option B?
Option B is chanting the name of your Kuladevata.
Kuladevata. Family deity.
Exactly, your Kuladev, the male family deity, or Kuladevi, the female one. This is presented as really fundamental, a crucial first step for pretty much everyone starting out.
Why the family deity specifically?
The reasoning given is quite profound. It suggests that God arranges for each person to be born into a particular family, a Kula, whose specific deity they need to connect with for their spiritual progress. Worshipping your Kuladevata is also thought to help lessen the impact of your destiny, the karmic path you're on.
Wow. So it's like a starting point designated by your birth?
That's the idea. It's seen as essential groundwork. And the belief is, if you sincerely practice this, your true guru will eventually find you or you'll be led to them.
Okay. That provides clear guidance for many. What's the third option?
Option C addresses a very specific and apparently growing issue in modern times, helping your departed ancestors.
Ancestors.
Yeah.
How does chanting help them?
Well, the sources point out that many people today, due to busy lives or changing customs, don't perform the traditional final rites or the annual Shraddha ceremonies for their ancestors.
Right. Those aren't as common, maybe.
And according to the spiritual science, if ancestors don't get these rites, they can become stuck or distressed in the afterlife, and that distress can actually affect the living descendants.
Oh, wow. So problems from the ancestors.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Distress, obstacles. So the solution offered is chanting a specific name. Shri Gurudev Datta.
Shri Gurudev Datta.
Yes. Chanting this is said to provide protection for you from any ancestral trouble, and importantly, it gives momentum to them, helping them progress in their afterlife journey.
So it helps both the living and the departed.
That's the teaching, yes. A specific chant for a specific common problem.
These options are so practical and tailored. They cover different bases, different needs. It's very thoughtful. But, even if you have the right chant, the right approach, any big journey has challenges, right? Obstacles on the path. And the sources are clear that the biggest ones aren't out there somewhere.
No, they're internal, definitely. The material highlights 2 major internal hurdles.
Okay, what are they?
First one, personality defects.
Like what?
Well, all the usual suspects, really. Anger, getting easily irritated, laziness, being forgetful, jealousy. The list goes on, things we all struggle with to some degree.
Yeah, we all have some of those. How do they block spiritual progress?
The sources are pretty blunt about it. They say someone loaded with significant personality defects simply cannot merge with God. These traits actively interfere with your practice, like static on a radio. They can even make you more vulnerable, allowing negative energies or influences to take hold more easily. So it's not just about being a nicer person in the worldly sense.
It's essential for the spiritual path itself.
Absolutely. It requires conscious, deliberate effort, willful effort, the sources say, to identify and overcome these defects.
Right. So it's not just about adding the chanting. It's also about subtracting these negative patterns.
Yeah.
What's the second big obstacle?
The second one is ego.
Ego. Always a big topic in spirituality.
Huge. And the material states that even a tiny amount, a mere fraction of ego, can be enough to prevent God-realisation.
Just a fraction. That's a high bar.
It is. It suggests that any attachment to I and mine, my identity, my achievements, my opinions, my body, creates a separation, a barrier between the individual self and the divine.
So how do you tackle something as fundamental as ego?
Again, it requires willful effort, conscious practice. The sources suggest practical things like sincere prayer, actively expressing gratitude for everything, big and small, and engaging in physical seva.
Seva, that's selfless service, right?
Yes. Serving others without expecting anything back, no reward, no recognition. These actions are believed to directly counteract and reduce the ego, fostering humility.
So prayer, gratitude, service. Concrete actions to dissolve ego.
Exactly. It's a very holistic picture. You add the positive practice like chanting, and you actively work on removing the internal blocks like defects and ego. They work together.
Hand in hand. Okay, this makes so much sense. We've covered the goal, Anand, the core practice chanting and how to do it, the specific what to chant. And now the internal work needed dealing with defects and ego. So putting it all together,
Yeah.
is there a way to, I guess, accelerate the process? The sources mentioned something about a swifter path.
Yes, absolutely. Towards the end, the material introduces this concept of Gurukrupayoga.
Gurukrupayoga, path of Guru's grace.
Exactly. Yoga here means path, so the path of Guru's grace. It essentially describes doing spiritual practice specifically with the intention of attracting and receiving the Guru's grace.
So it's not just doing the practices, but doing them for the Guru's help.
Precisely. It's like consciously aligning your efforts with seeking that divine guidance and blessing. The idea is that this directly taps into a more powerful current, an accelerated stream of spiritual energy and support.
How does that compare to other paths?
Well, the sources contrasted by saying that seekers on other paths might practice for years, making slow progress, and then start yearning for a guru's grace to speed things up.
So they might seek it later, after hitting limitations.
Right. Whereas Gurukrupayoga makes seeking and relying on that grace the central principle from the outset. And the claim in the material is quite strong.
Oh.
It states that seekers who follow this path of Guru's grace often experience much faster spiritual progress and have spiritual experiences that, well, prove its absolute supremacy as the quickest route to God-realisation.
Absolute supremacy.
Okay.
That's a bold claim. But it ties everything back to the importance of guidance.
It does. It presents a complete framework, really.
Wow. Okay, this has been incredibly illuminating. We've gone from the basic human desire for happiness to the concept of lasting bliss, Anand. We've explored the power of namajapa, chanting, as a practical, accessible tool for everyone, especially in these times.
Right. The when and how.
We got specific guidance on what to chant based on individual needs. Guru's name, Kuladevata, or for ancestors.
The personalized approach.
Then tackled the internal work, overcoming personality defects and ego, which is crucial.
Can't skip that part.
And finally, understanding Gurukrupayoga as potentially the most direct path, leveraging the Guru's grace. It feels like a really solid, comprehensive roadmap based on the material you shared.
I think it does provide a very robust framework, yes. Lots of practical steps alongside the deep philosophy.
Definitely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, perhaps a final thought for our listeners to chew on. Something based on all this.
Yeah, maybe this. Considering everything we've discussed, the difference between fleeting happiness and true Anand, the specific practices like chanting, the need to dissolve ego, it really raises an important question for you, for everyone listening. Are you consciously looking at your life, your daily activities, your habits, and asking, does this genuinely move me towards that ultimate goal of lasting bliss and realization? Or is it just offering temporary comfort, a distraction, a momentary reprieve? It's worth reflecting on where your energy is truly going.
That is a powerful question to end on. Are our actions truly aligned with our deepest goals? Something to definitely ponder. Thank you so much for unpacking all of this with us.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep growing.